There's just 1 minute to showtime.
The engines are on.
The following program is brought to you in living color.
When they wrote up the systems and the rule set that we use, did working people get to write a line? What class of men on pen and paper jotted down their clues, with capital the heart of their design? When 90 million want a thing, but some shareholders say no, which class of people get to have their way? The people read the fine print, say that this thing has got to go, and we'll start writing a new contract here today. Don't you know that hundreds will work and one man keeps the money? They don't think they gotta tell us why. When they say the new social contract, all the bosses will be gobsmacked and everyone will want a sign. Oh, yeah, everyone will want a sign.
Okay. Oh no. Hold on. I gotta divide the screen properly. Okay. We've been trying some new stuff out, some new settings. They change our settings all the time, and we're like, okay. Well, there we go. That looks about correct. Well, hello, cousins. Thank you for joining us. If you're kicking it to our excellent theme song, You Are Not Alone, because I always am. Every time I listen to it, I never get tired of it. That is courtesy of our own Mr. Mayor Jared, very talented Mr. Mayor Jared, who provided it sounds like multiple people and performers on the track. It's all him. He's layered his own track, so that's super cool. You don't have doesn't appear on any of your, or does it? Do you have that?
It is on nothing specific yet, okay. But it probably will end up one day. That's how it happens.
Somewhere, yeah, like on the lost episodes of.
If you look at any of my releases and you check the date they're released versus when they were written, they're always like 3+ years earlier.
You know what? That is so typical. Like, people also tend not to really understand how production works. We were kind of talking about this before the show, so that's why we came on a couple minutes late. Sometimes we like to talk, so you guys can wait. The thing of it is that I was talking to him about my new book coming out about Big Bad Wolf, and I make movies and things like this. I like to handle all aspects of production because I enjoy it. Generally, these things would be farmed out to other people who did design their own covers or whatever. And then Jared's kind of the same way. He likes to to layer the tracks and handle the tracks and master the tracks and do everything in his own vision. And luckily, one thing about living in the future that's good is that we do have the ability to do that ourselves, to be independent producers. So if you wanted the little inside track on that, like you could call it, maybe we're control freaks in our own way. Who knows? I think you kind of need to be if you're a creator or a creative person. But now that we can be, you don't, your book or your movie or your music isn't dependent on a record label or a producer or a literary agent or agency or production house. Like, you can handle it all yourself. So that actually is a neat thing that I definitely appreciate. I like utilizing those kind of skills. I will talk about that later, though. I will be back after the show for a bonus episode where I'll do a little bit of reading from my new book and talk a little bit about that. So we will get into that in the next hour. That'll be around 2:30 after we wrap up this. But we have a lot of horrible things and fresh hell to talk about right now. So we don't have time to talk about my stuff. So that will come later. But thank you so much for joining us. We always appreciate you being here with us. We are, we're really glad to have Jared back after his turn entertaining the troops, and by that I mean paying customers.
The shows are free. It's just whether or not they want to buy my stuff after or not.
Yeah, we'll go to shows and buy it after.
Please, my
Sh-
next show will be this Friday, I think. I don't know. It's in Guadalajara, Mexico. I don't know
oh,
how many
geez.
people watching are going to show up. But
Yeah, if you're in Guadalajara, man, go down and check out his work. It's gonna be excellent.
the flight is
Um,
expensive, but once I'm there, everything else is not free, but it is. I like traveling for many reasons, but one of them is you get to like pretend, you get to like LARP being rich if you go to a country where their exchange rate is very bad compared to yours. I get to be the guy where I'm hanging out with my Mexican friends and I'm like, who would like Uber Eats? Because I'm in a country where I can afford.
afford it,
It's like,
right?
wow, my entire order for like 5 meals plus delivery fee, everything is $20 American. Yes, I
Wow,
can afford. I can't afford that. And then I tip the guy like $2, and he's like, "Whoa!"
man.
You get to
Well,
walk around like this is this is what it feels like.
this is what it's like. Because it's so fucking
Yeah,
impossible in this country.
because
That's
that's where I
another
can stand
reason.
up and be like, "Next round's on me," and just like do it, and it doesn't cripple me.
That's another reason you've got to buy from living independent artists, whether it's artwork or music or books or whatever. Because first of all, we're making awesome shit that's not corporate approved, and second of all, we need the money. So it is impossible to live in this country and make anything off of anything. Shout out to the chat. Hey, to Time Traveler. Yeah, we're glad to have Mr. Jared back with us today.
I got to
Uh,
figure out how to quite gauge my Americans stop coming to Mexico jokes, because that is becoming a thing, especially along the border where certain towns, enough Americans are just showing up because, hey, it's really cheap over here. Let's buy a house.
Right. Yeah. People are definitely moving out of the country. The new American dream is to leave it. So, and a lot of people, if you're used to living in the southern states and hop over to Mexico is really not that unusual to you, especially like the closer to the border you are. And the same goes for the northern borders. If you are, within a few, hours of the border, you basically are, like it's not that different. The weather's not going to be that different. The life is not going to be that different. It's like, so I don't, I understand the impetus a lot of the time, but also I think people in America kind of get this idea of like, I'm tired of working hard and not getting anything out of it. I want to be rich now and do exactly what Jared just said, but like, in an advantageous kind of a way. So that the other countries, you wonder if they benefit from it or they don't benefit from it. But, people got to do what they got to do, I guess.
It's nice for local people to get dollars, but then over time, when it becomes more and more a thing, that's what becomes the big issue. Is towns? There's a couple of towns I've heard of that have just like switched to using U.S. dollar
Wow.
basically, and then the locals are like, "Well, now stuff is way too expensive. I can't
Yeah,
afford anything."
right. You can't do this. You're messing everything up.
Yeah.
So,
So it's great for like the Americans temporarily, and then prices adjust. I could start ranting about Marx, talking about how prices just kind of equalized depending
yeah,
on like what is
right.
available. But if you're a
Yeah.
local who's lived there forever, and then you're like suddenly, oh crap, my groceries are going up because like foreigners moved to my town and made it more
Yeah.
expensive.
Then then you're basically creating like a anti-immigrant incentive there.
And there
Like,
have been deportations of Americans who have entered Mexico illegally, came
sure.
back into
I mean,
America, and
yeah, it makes sense. It does. If you were, you may want to turn away now because we are going to get pretty nasty about the No Kings
oh yes,
to rally. And this is not something that we're aiming at any personal one person. I think that there are people who attended this. Out of the literally 7 million people who attended this, and that's maybe the most infuriating point, that thought that they really were doing good. But if you do think that, and you generally did think that, you're stupid. Like, I'm sorry that it has to come out that way, but the truth really hurts. Because what we're really talking about here is it's not people wanting to do something, it's doing an abjectly wrong thing for the wrong reasons. And I think that you will find the vast majority of people who attended these very intentional protests, protests, they don't protest because there's no demands and nothing, there's no demands, no outcome, no, they're not saying they want anything out of this. It was just show up kind of a scenario. Basically, you give your information so that they can start texting and asking you back blue for money.
most of them required a sign up to receive the specific time and location. Which, if you've been in like small protest groups in the past, you'd be like, well, that's like a thing that these small groups have done for like security, because they don't want the cops to know where they're going to be,
Right.
so that it
Show up
like
the
makes
last
sense in
minute.
that context. This is a protest where the people were told to not go into the streets, do not in any way cause
disrupt any issue, make any kind of issue. Yeah, no, nothing was disrupted. No demands were made or met.
Oh, there were demands made, but the demands were only for the protesters, the participants. There were demands made on them, such as lead with love, not anger. Or remember the end of Star Wars 8, the one people didn't like, where Rose is like, we need to not fight against things we hate, but fight for things we love. So anyway, they wrote that down. Focus your energy on what you stand for.
Jot that down.
Not what you stand against. That's literally the scene that everyone rolled their eyes at. Cause it's like, no, bitch, he's literally about to stop 1 million people from dying in a laser, and you stopped him. So like, it's just kind of weakening your point. All right. He is fighting for those he loved, the ones about to get hit by the giant laser.
Right? Yeah, like kind of like, priorities here.
Smile, greet others, celebrate with families and kids. Well, I remember the frickin' Canadian trucker protest had a bunch of kids at it. You guys still called them all mega Hitler. Smile and greet others. Keep it clean and respectful.
Why are they telling you to smile? And that sounds so
Smile
like
more.
Don't you get like that's such a like propagandist, like I don't know what to even compare it as, like with the machine. It's like, or if like Fallout, you know how they're like everything's fake and they're like smile and be a good person, and it's like that kind of shit. Like you're so fucking indoctrinated into this shit, you don't realize the kind of crap that they're telling you here.
Make your sign, speak peace. I feel like I'm at church. Carry joy beyond the rally. Remember that? The winning Kamala Harris message of joy. Vote for joy.
Good God. Joy and genocide.
It's not even that like individually these are like don't think we're saying that, oh, so you want us to not celebrate families and kids. Like the point is like, what do you think you're doing? What are we out here?
Why are you there? Yeah.
Why
that is
are
not
we there is the question no one could answer.
You can see overwhelmingly from these points, I guess you would say, that there's no protest here involved whatsoever.
You guys can go to Democrat fundraisers whenever you want. They happen all the time. They're probably right now. You could go on actblue.com. Give them some money. I'm sure you've all got your emails if you attended one of these protests.
I'm sure have started.
I'm on these lists, and I've actively tried to not. It's because I went to a Sanders rally 10 years ago, and now I'm just forever going to be on the text messaging list. This is blah, 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 running for Congress of blah, blah, blah. Can you send $10 to...
No! Yeah,
not again. I already did it. Like, the reason we sound so freaking jaded is if you pay attention to how these protest cycles go, they've just gotten, it's like a spiral inward where they've just gotten more and more, I don't want to say silly and useless, but if you've heard of a protest, you talk about the massive attendance in this, isn't it convenient that whenever it's a protest that has, demands and specific things that we're going for that the establishment does not want, that are counter to the establishment goals, you never hear about those protests. They don't get wall-to-wall news coverage from every single major everything. You don't. You're not going to get advertised.
They don't have celebrities at them. The couple of fringy ones like Susan Sarandon and James Cromwell will show up and glue themselves to something. But you don't see that. It's Mark Ruffalo's there and John Hughes. I get fucked.
Mark Ruffalo kind of goes around where I keep waiting. There's like, if one guy got in Mark Ruffalo's ear, I think he could like become a fun ally. But
there's so many people that come so fucking close. Like Mark Maron is one of them, and then he just turns around and like hard liberals. Like he's like, man, if you listen to like the things he's saying, it's like, God, you're almost there. You're gonna get this. I swear, you're almost there. And then nope.
This is from currentaffairs.org. I picked these articles almost at random because I don't trust it. Like, there's not a source to be like, oh, it's CNN, now I trust it. Like, I mean, if you listen to our opinions, that would be silly. But here we go. No King's protests just aren't enough. And this article is interesting because it kind of goes back and forth where it's like, yes, everyone there is nice and we like them. And when they say they agree with them, it's like, agree with what? There was no point. There was nothing to disagree with because there was no point made to agree or disagree with.
Right.
But they tend to be going like, yeah, we all came out and had fun, but like, is this actually doing anything?
Right. Yeah.
It includes opinions from other people who aren't just me and Nicolette over here. Sorry, we both went to the local No Kings protest in New Orleans. They went to New Orleans, and we're heartened by it. Like, it's the thing where I feel the signaling myself. I'm like, I feel like I'm supposed to feel really good about this. But when you ask the question, why? Why would I feel good about it? What has it changed?
Yeah, if
what
you
will
look
change?
into it slightly, then you're like, wait a minute. The
Why
whole
does it feel good?
house of cards falls down. It's so funny.
It should make you feel good in the same way that if your friends have a house party and it was fun, that makes you feel good, but it didn't like accomplish anything.
Yeah, right? Exactly.
You all had a fun party.
Yeah, that's basically what, that our argument with the whole thing is if you have a so-called protest, but you're not having any substance behind it. You're not demanding anything. You're not saying we want change. We're just saying we don't like the end. And then you spend the whole day having a nice Saturday taking pictures of yourself for Instagram with your stupid signs. That's a pageant. That's a parade. That's
good, compassionate people who want to prevent the country slide into full-blown fascism. But the second half of that, I mean, you meet good, compassionate people, but can you ask them to articulate what fascism is and how are we doing what to prevent its slide into
define fascism even. Like, and then you're just gonna get in there, but like, I don't like a Trump, and that's it. Like,
all it is, man. Just go to a Democrat rally.
Democrat talking points.
Everybody who at that rally was going to vote for Kamala last time already did, and they're going to again. I don't know what the point. Well, we all had to get in our costumes first to reaffirm. It's like going to church. Well, you got to go to church on Sunday. You got to have the Pope bless your artifacts so you can pray to the God of Democrats that nothing actually changes, because they don't want to change anything, I guess, because there was nothing that they stated they wanted to be changed in this protest with millions of people.
Showed up.
Millions together, and none of those millions could figure out a demand, I guess. But you want to change the garb of the person in charge of these things that will not change. You just don't like the guy. Okay, great, because who are they protesting with? Hillary Clinton, Nancy Pelosi, no kings. We have Nancy Pelosi, who has been a monarch for 37 years, I think, at this point, 38 years. The Queen of England barely ruled that long.
It's just asinine is what it is. And it's like, this is the most infuriated, like, that we can really get about things, because it's like, oh, the impetus was there. You were willing to go outside and do something, but you did literally less than fucking nothing. And it was about your good time and you're trying to clear your own conscience. Like, this really has nothing to do with moving, the goalpost, or moving like anywhere near anything, or saying anything, because then you start to find that, like, people, first of all, can't even define what they're there for. It's just, I don't like and then they have look at this shit. Like,
I go to
that's
furry
not for
conventions.
attention.
It's fun. You put on costumes, y'all take pictures, and a lot of people pretend that they're changing the world.
Yeah, it's so egotistical and so stupid. I know you've heard me say, like a broken record, like, Americans have no bite, they've got no fight. It's the bend and bend and bend and bend, and when the time comes to break, they will bend some more and then bend some more and say, yes, sir, can I have another? And that is the American attitude now. Maybe we've lived too soft for too long. I don't know. And I might have said that was, like, sort of ingrained into us generation by generation, fight less, fight less, fight less. But now I think this is like a flagrant disregard for actual fundamental change. I don't care what label of political or color you want to put on it. This is like a flagrant disregard for actual change. We don't really want to upset the status quo. We don't really want to actually change anything. We just want you to know we don't like it.
I am sad I missed these protests, because we're burying the lead here. There was, I guess, a no-law solidarity choir. I really missed an opportunity there. I could have sang.
Yeah, you did, dude.
Could have sang with this kind of choir. And then at the end of the performance, Trump come out and be like, "You're right," and then killed himself. That's what would have happened. It was, and then everyone was like,
that was gonna happen. Like, you got him now. Really got him on the ropes. They're scared and worried right now as they play golf and laugh at your stupid asses. So
drinks a cup of blood. He's like, "I am the queen now," and everyone goes, "This is all we wanted."
No kings, only queens.
Yeah.
Like Game of Thrones, somebody's head gets ripped off
Kamala.
and the spine comes out. It's just like
this freaking campaign. They were calling Kamala a queen.
Mm-hmm.
Queen.
Horrible. Like, this is like it's such, again, a double standard. What's that?
I
missed what you said.
Finish your thought before I keep going.
Well, it's just rants. Go ahead.
So a part of that I like this article is, because we just went through the whole where it's them just going like, everyone's heart is in the right place, which this says over a few paragraphs. There's a whole lot of people went, and there was the first one was earlier, because it was when Zoran Trader Mamdani was still pretending to be socialist, I guess, and then he's in interviews. Well, I never said I'm a socialist.
Pretending to socialist is right.
Bernie says the same shit. Well, I've never said I'm like a socialist. I'm more of like a Democrat that gets people to vote for me who don't like Democrats. Some activists and commentators on the left have characterized No Kings as a kind of cringy carnival of liberalism. And it's like, yes, that's it. You did it in one sentence there, and they aren't totally wrong. Like, I don't know.
No, we're completely correct, actually.
Chris Smalls. We talk about Christian Smalls all the time on the show. Chris Smalls, founder
we
of
do.
the Amazon Labor Union, the only successfully unionized warehouse in all of Amazon. Only one has got it. They still don't have a contract because legally they never have to give you a contract.
Right.
A founder of that asked, "No King's Day is a big ass parade." Oh, hold up a second. "No King's Day is big ass parades. When are we going to withhold our labor for, I don't know, maybe genocide?" Question mark, question mark. Like, that's a tweet almost
Yeah,
certainly.
I posted that on our thing. Yeah.
Butch Ware,
Right?
who also sucks. Butch sabotage her
Butch
ass
Ware
on
sucks.
purpose. Ware, he hates China for some reason. He's a socialist that thinks China is Hitler, and it's like, wow, what a great socialist.
Really weird priorities, that guy.
I love all socialism as long as it exists only in my mind. If it starts happening in a country in the real world, now I hate it. They hate Cuba,
Right.
they hate Venezuela, they hate North Korea. They aren't sure about
Well, that makes
Vietnam. They
sense.
want to.
It's like, what are your goals then? Like, what are you trying to do? Like, new socialism? Like, that doesn't fucking exist. Marx wouldn't have been talking about this shit like 200 years ago if it didn't always be the same thing as long as commerce and industrialization has existed. It doesn't.
Man, love your response there is just so perfect. What's the point of pretending to be a fucking socialist?
Like,
Socialist.
call yourself something else, clown shoes. Like, what's your fucking point?
Calling yourself what you are, which is a Trotskyist, which is not a rant that we have time to go on, but if you look at what neocon shit is, neoconservatism, where it's like, we need to go around the world and start wars with everybody, and then eventually there will be peace once they acknowledge us as the big boy. That's Trotskyism, but like dressed up in douchebaggy glasses. So I'm active.
And pseudo-intellectualism.
I want to say the ancient battle, but it's been like only 100 years of the Marxist-Leninists versus the Trotskyists, and how people stand on the side like, oh, the leftists just keep fighting each other. I'm like, you don't understand. one of us wants to do a socialism, and the other one wants to do John McCain, and you're like, oh, they're the same
Capitalism
thing.
light, yeah.
They're clearly the exact same thing. John McCain and Lenin, the same ideas. Some
Right.
activists and comment. Okay, I already read through that. Butch Ware, Jill Stein's former running mate and current Green Party candidate in California's gubernatorial race, observed that mass mobilization without any specific demand and without any organization is actually detrimental. It wastes potential energy that could be directed. Sorry, I'm drinking my coffee. Wastes potential energy that could be directed into effectively organizing against systems. Max Blumenthal, friend of the editor. We don't know Max. He tends to be one of the more based persons on the internet, who is still hasn't Marx yet, but it's like, man, you get it on some level. Editor-in-chief of Grey Zone points out that No King's messaging does not include opposition to U.S.-Israeli wars, despite learning this stuff, despite officially referencing Ukraine. So the one war you were allowed to be against, not against, there was one war mentioned and you had to support it. You had to support sending money to Ukraine, but they didn't want to create any awkwardness of messaging, so they just left out the Palestine stuff. And I could have farmed a bunch of
big
clips.
one here.
I could have farmed a bunch of clips of people at the protests being mad that people have like Palestine flags and kifkas and shit. What's her name? The pink lady, Medea, who's another one. She seems to be doing great work out there. She goes to the protests and she's a little old lady, and they beat her up, and not beat her up, they like, drag her out of the room, and she's just like,
thrown in jail.
I'm a tiny 5-foot old lady.
Old lady, and they kick the shit out of me all the time. Let's
It's good
go.
optics. I support Medea. She's doing everything she can. But there's video that she's taken with Code Pink of people getting like yelled at for having a Palestine flag. It's like what?
Idiot shit.
Oh man, that's why they can't have demands, because any demand that anybody like you couldn't get these people to agree with it. We're against war. This war. We're against deportations. Well, not that our guy did. We're against going after your political prosecution of your enemies, except for the ones that we're doing.
We
coming
want,
up
yeah,
next.
exactly.
John Bolton being indicted, and it's by Biden who heard it, but they're blaming Trump, his political enemies. Okay. But I won't sidetrack.
Yeah, we'll get in. We got some stuff on that for you. But the whole fact of the matter is I know that a lot of you probably saw this guy didn't need any protests with pictures of Biden. He had like massive protests, and he had like the shit kicked out of college students right and fucking left over Palestine. So
that's how it started.
Like, don't tell me that, that's just propaganda. That's just internet nonsense. The man was just as culpable in all of this as anyone. But when Blue does it, it's allowed. Like that is the entire mentality of this entire situation and this was, this was a pre-established event, round 2. It was, you could probably go back in time and listen to whatever we had to say the first time this went around. Probably sounds exactly like what we're saying this time around. But it's okay when Team Blue does it, because then it's justified. It's allowed. It's with compassion and joy. Like, give me a motherfucking break. It's the same goddamn military contractors that are benefiting from war. It's the same companies, the same tech industry that, like Instagram has a fucking field day on a day like this, like with engagement and make money making and ad selling and what the crap ever. And like, this is literally funneling people back into the capitalist system instead of away from it. This was planned. You all were had. 7 million of you were had
back into their pens. Because for a bit, and still now, it's still not too freaking late, because I don't think this stuff really works on that many people, even though like 7 million? I'm like, that's like nobody. 350 million said that seems stupid and didn't fucking go. So like, what do you want to freaking say here?
Yeah, that's all we have to go off of is what we're being told. Like, because it's like not like any one of us was standing there with a clicker.
The most advertised and in every city possible protest had a big turnout. The one that they talked about on TV nonstop for a week. The one where you have, here we are, Kamala Harris's husband, Doug Emhoff. I don't know why it weirds me out that they don't have the same name, but when it's them, just everything fucking weirds me out about him. Doug Emhoff unironically posted a photo of himself holding a sign that read, I didn't know that was her husband, but I saw the photo. If Kamala had won, we'd be at brunch. And we're sitting here going, yeah, we know that's what you would do. Nothing would change except you would be at brunch.
Shit. Yeah, that's exactly what this is. This was
your seating location is the only difference. You're at the protest or you're eating a fucking waffle next to the protest.
Right, yeah. And either way, it was for your own entertainment and your own fun. This was for fun. This was for you to have a nice Saturday and pretend like you were doing something. So if you were there and you're hearing us say this, you take it how you want to take it, but you should be looking at yourself pretty fucking critically right now, because, although I don't imagine anybody who was there.
Use leverage. Say, I was at your protest and I want X, Y, and Z. Do it or I'm not fucking giving you money or voting for you.
Right. How easy would that be?
That's all you gotta do.
And that's where we kind of come into the fact that it's like, okay, we're constantly arguing and fighting and bickering and bitching on the left. Like, okay, where are the solutions? And then that's something that we always want to try to get to on the show, but we never do because the problems are so huge that we have to save it for like anniversary shows, which we do have coming up pretty soon.
The thing that must happen, the first step is to abandon the uniparty. That is it. Until that happens, literally nothing else can happen until that has happened. So that's the solution.
Let me be very clear about this. We're in the midst of a government shutdown. The longest one in history was during Trump's last administration. This one's going for second longest. So here's
the Democrats like it. They're going around saying we're going to keep this shit going. It's like, what? I thought,
If government, like we are actually at an inflection point here, and it doesn't seem like it, but we are, because we've got people for whatever reason who are dissatisfied at the very least, or a little bothered by it.
7 million people had enough of an issue with something that they went downtown.
Yeah, so they were bothered to go do something like less fun than maybe a normal fun. So there's this. So you got a lot of bothered people, right? And then you've got a government that's completely shut down. It's not even fucking functioning, and it's becoming increasingly irrelevant anyways, because we see that they have very little say or do over what anything is actually happening. Anytime that something is wanting to change and people are really in on it, they'll come up with some asinine shit like the parliamentarian says no. Like, okay, the whole country is held hostage on fucking whatever because one person that nobody's ever heard of and it's fucking nothing says no. And then they always find a reason to do this. The parties are particularly bonded into this one thing. And we know now, basically, the tech companies and the billionaire companies are controlling the entire outcome of any kind of governmental or policy thing. So we don't have a government. We are beholden to fucking Facebook. Like, literally, it's like what these billionaires are saying. They are the government now.
Yeah, we have a government. It's just the board of Facebook and Google and Apple.
That's the whole point. Yeah, like exactly that. And the government is irrelevant. So something will have to change because we do not have a functioning government. It's not even on right now. We don't even actually technically have one right now. And everything is still garbage. And nothing is better or worse. It's just the same. And when they come back into session, whenever the Democrats cave or whatever, Nothing good is going to come of that either. Then they've got, like whatever nonsense that they're trying to hide behind. They're trying to act like they're upwardly mobile here now. They're not. They're nothing. They are getting paid the same money from the same industries as the Republicans. And that's what makes a uniparty. If they're taking handouts from the same industries, the tech industry, the pharmaceutical industry, the medical care industry, or the insurance industry, I should say, all these ones, then that means that there's no division between the two, even if you want to imaginarily attribute a color or an attitude towards it. They are serving the same masters, and those masters are in not even quiet control of things anymore. This used to be stuff that they're, for the sake of decorum or whatever, used to, 20 years ago, it was, and further back, there were generals in charge of things, or lawyers, career lawyers ran things. Like, at least they made a show of seeming like they were qualified and they knew shit. Now everybody's a fucking smokescreen. Everybody's a goddamn pedophile, and they don't care that you know it because they're so irrelevant that it doesn't matter. And you have literal Democrats dying in their fucking seats because they're so decrepit that, like, okay, you're not going to sit here and tell me that if somebody's 86 years old and they tell you, you get the note that they're going to run for re-election, give me a fucking break. They're eating their applesauce and they don't know where the hell they are, and they don't need to be running a fucking country on top of it. So this is not the time to pretend like government in this country is real, or that something like this is going to do anything about it without any kind of demands on that. Yet, we are at an inflection point because something has to change.
There seems no greater vision or demand underlying the protests beyond getting rid of the, quote, man who would be king. Other protest movements had coherent demands, such as votes for women now, no blood for oil, or ceasefire now. All of which, except for, I guess, the votes for women one, would have been scolded if you went to, or seen as, what was it, like, we're not lifting voices with positivity if we were to, protest one of these wars or demand a ceasefire. They're like, well, there is a ceasefire. But, so now it is a ceasefire. So the Democrats say it is a ceasefire, but before, no, it's Trump, so it doesn't count. But no king seemed, for many, just to be a way of blowing off steam, for expressing frustration at our inability to halt the rightward side of American politics. And if you're frustrated by that, I have bad news for you. It is a co-ed. It is both helping to slide rightward. Yep. I had a right-wing person who was just going on Twitter, not talking to me specifically, but they're just like, someone explain to me with specifics, how is America fascist, and like, what? And then I'm like, okay, like, what is fascism and how is America doing it? And I'm like, fascism is when corporations and the government tag team together to enforce, usually with violence, austerity measures on the working class. That's all it is. And with the important step that the corporations are the top layer. Corporations are the will that is served, and the government has to step in to enforce that with their, guns and militaries, etc. And that's what it is. Because you'll hear me say, like, well, does not China have the government and the corporations collaborate? I'm like, well, two important things that are different. The government is the top layer in that situation, and what is being legally enforced? Is it austerity upon the people of China, where people are forced to accept less and less and to be happy with it? Or is it the opposite, where people are receiving more and more? Like, those are the two factors that keep me from saying, well, Jared, in your analysis, wouldn't that also be China? No. Are they enforcing austerity, and whose will is being enforced with by force? Enforced. Right. Is it the will of those corporations, or is it the will of those people? If China was going around enforcing the will of Huawei, I probably would have a different opinion, but instead they seem to be like, hey, CEO of Huawei, you are getting uppity, knock it off, also make your phones cheaper. And they're like, sure.
Gotcha.
So that is what fascism is. The government and the corporations team up to screw over you, specifically the workers, and to hold capitalism together as crisis. I don't even like adding that part because I'm like, oh, so only... it gets people thinking about isms too much. Like,
yeah, don't get hung up in the language and the color, the identities. Like, that's what they want you to do. Hit all these stupid sticking points and fight each other to avoid having to think about class consciousness.
Step one is reestablishing democracy, because like you just said, we have a government, we just don't have an elected government.
No.
Like,
and there's a word for that. I can't remember what it's called, but it's like when they're completely useless.
Well,
it's a specific word when it's just like the dumbest, most unqualified people, and they're just robber baroning everything. It's not kleptocracy, which is happening, but it's like if you combine all of these things, it's like a technocracy basically. But like you combine all of these things, and it's like that checks all the boxes, like historically. And it's like, oh, what the American government, they fucking didn't. This has been going on since people got their assholes out of the dirt and stood upright. This is like literally how things have worked forever. And you can look into the past literally on every dying empire and see the exact same playbook, playing out and what is happening. And we are right in there, but it could take generations for any actual real change, especially when you have the vast majority of people acting out like this.
We have another point that this article accidentally makes. So this will be the end of my talking about the no kings thing. But they say, for all its performative liberalism, Republicans and the Trump admin treated no kings as if it were a looming act of domestic terrorism. And it's kind of a point that I didn't even think of until I read it, where it's, why I keep saying this is a Democrat fundraiser. Oh, baby, it is a Republican fundraiser as well, because you are meant to either say, yes, this is good, take my money and do this thing. I don't know what the thing you're doing is, but the vibes make me happy, so have some money. Or you hold it up and be like, look at this horrible bad thing. And then the Republicans, if you're on the other side, same side, if you're on the other aesthetic, if you want Pokemon Red instead of Pokemon Blue, the same colors, that was an accent, that's funny. You get to go, oh, these scary, horrible Marxist, communist raiders are coming in with their fucking signs that say and now they're gonna overthrow the country. We better give the Republicans millions and millions of dollars. It just works for both. The Democrats like like Trump because he's their best fundraising tactic. Their money went way down when he was out of office. And Republicans like this nonsense because then they can go, look, see, they're in the streets, Antifa super soldiers, and they're gonna kill you and your families. You better give us $1 billion trillion. And nothing changes. That's the most important part. Nothing changes.
In both regards, this is to funnel you back into the capitalist system and make sure that you do not, that you do not actually disturb the status quo or cause a real problem for anybody while they gain capitally off of the whole thing and keep you exactly where you are. So we're constantly on about, okay, problem. And we don't really get to talk solutions very much, but a very obvious solution to this. Okay, it's not like theoretical. It's not like, oh, well, if we did this and that. Okay, literally, like people just seem to not want to understand or cannot understand what the meaning of general strike is. Okay, so a general strike is not like, we just like, boycott everything forever and nobody gets anything ever and we all just live in hell. That is not what it is. It's literally like everybody agrees to not buy anything for one day. Well in advance, you are told about this. That would make such a actual useful statement, not to the government. Forget them. They're useless. They're nothing. But to the companies who run things. Like, oh, Walmart and, Amazon and Kroger and all these giant mega corporations. Like if everybody said, okay, on October 30th, we're not actually going to buy anything. And 7 million fucking people don't. Okay, like think about that. Like it's not about your stupid Instagram, like who could have the best costume or get the most likes for your sign. Like think about what that would do to the economy. I'm talking one day. And if you're going to tell me that's disruptive, are you really the type of person who's literally buying something every single day of your life that you couldn't put it off one day? Or to say we're not going to shop at this particular store, no Amazon today, that would make a pretty big statement. Or if everybody says we're going to go on a 10-minute break at the same time next Tuesday, everybody that's out and working or doing something is going to go on a 10-minute break. Not enough to lose your job or make anybody really, really angry with you because they would actually have a grievance against you in terms of like HR and legally, but a 10-minute break, that we all agreed that we were going to do, or we choose a bill we don't pay, or nobody uses social media for one day. That's who's controlling your life at this point. The boom of money that came into social media in the last, I don't know, generation, however many, 20 years or so, like that is what a general strike would do. And those would have demands, as in, okay, no more war in Palestine, okay? Or we're gonna do this again. We have shown you what we will do. We won't shop today anywhere. So if you don't meet our demands, we will do it again. And we will do it again after that, and again after that. Or if you say you don't bring down inflation and stop these idiot tariff shit, like then we will do it again, and we will do it again. It is literally that simple. So you want solutions. You want to know, okay, I thought I was doing the right thing going out to this protest. I wasn't trying to be a stupid liberal dickhead. I really thought that this would help and happen, and I wanted to be part of something because I feel so fucking powerless. I get you. We hear that. But the idea behind it is you have to have a point. You have to have a purpose. It really shouldn't be that hard to figure out. And I know everybody's getting really like so much stupider because of long COVID and because of like chat GPT. Like we live in this horribly stupid timeline, right? But you're going to have to take some agency over some shit somewhere, and you're going to have to decide like, okay, I want to be part of something actually meaningful and helpful, and my government is just going to continue to mow me down at every turn and see that I am homeless and starving and sick until I die, and then they just like continue to make money off of me and use me even in my death. So
I didn't think I was reading more from this article, but I don't. I'm not trying to doom and gloom people, but just to freaking make sure we all know what we're up against. No Kings is not a revolutionary event, nor does it pretend to be. It lasted only a few hours, and in New Orleans, organizers explicitly asked us not to take to the streets. Unless protests are ongoing, there's no incentive for the system to care. In other countries, protests don't stop until the problem stops, and then they immediately contradict that sentence by saying, during the 2023 pension reform strikes in France, millions of workers shut down entire cities for months to oppose Emmanuel Macron's plan to raise the retirement age from 62 to 64. Blocking roads, halting trains, and letting trash pile in the streets.
And spraying manure all over the Capitol building.
Don't read ahead of me, everybody. Until, what happened? Oh, Macron rammed his bill through the parliament without a vote. So it happened fucking anyway. That's shutting down entire... Like, the absolute very least, if you still believe that, like, electoralism is a thing that does anything, the absolute least that you can do is withhold your vote unless they meet demands, set demands, and if they don't meet it, don't vote. That's exactly what all of us did with Palestine. I was saying, because before I'm like, fuck the Democrats, I'm never voting for them ever, ever, ever. And then it became, if Kamala Harris gets even half serious about ceasefire in Palestine, I'll vote for her. Because then there will be something that is a stated difference, at least, even though I don't believe that she would have done it, even if she came out on stage and said, I will make Palestine a state tomorrow. She wouldn't have done it, but if she would have lied, I would have voted for her. And I said that to many people, said that on the show many, many times, and she didn't. She instead said, I'm speaking, and it's going on a book tour.
And doubled down on it, and on immigration, said that she'd give more money to border control than immigration. So yeah, no, she.
I sure hope those fuckers didn't go vote for Macron again or whatever. I know you don't vote for, you know.
Well, you know, the point is the same. It's just like, okay, like, are you like, okay, we get you're tired of the system. You're tired of Trump. He's worn you down. Hasn't even been a full year in this term yet. You know, you're sick of this. You're tired of this. But what are you actually sick of? Articulate it. What are you actually tired of? Articulate it. How is it different from the
Republicans?
The past?
Why haven't they done the child care shit they said they were going to do? Still haven't.
Yeah, why? Okay, like in the old days, they used to just lie to you and you believed it because there were limited outlets in this. We have always had state media,
and there'd be a bribe though. There'd be something you were gonna get. And now they don't even offer you anything.
They would put the carrot on the stick in front of you and say, like, here's a bunch of lies, but I'll make it sound like truth.
We're going to send you a dividend if you vote for W. Bush. It's like, okay, there's a thing I can point to that I will get if I vote for you.
Yeah, and then they argued about that to the point that they were like, argue. We can't actually send them anything legitimate. Okay, so a few people got like $200.
My mom got $400 because we were a family of whatever.
Yeah, we're a family, right? Like you get about like 200 or so. Yeah, that's what it was. Like that's what. Even though I think the economy was different then, but that was still only $200 fucking dollars, $400 fucking dollars. Okay, and then they're like, and they went on the news and they were like, people are going to go on vacations with that money. They're going to stimulate the economy. They're going to buy Christmas with that money. People paid their credit card debt.
The only point of it was to get us back to a deficit because I'm not going to do my whole Marx rant, but the U.S. funds itself off of debt. So if we have a surplus, we're fucked. We have it's bad. So they had to like, quick, dump the surplus. And
yeah, right. And make them think they're getting something because we perpetuate the stupidity cycle.
Yeah, two birds with one stone. You pay the peasants to be quiet for another couple of years.
Right. And then if they wanted to do that right now in current modern times, it would be so easy to get people to shut the fuck up. It would be so easy. Give them weed, give them money, give them to bring down the price of food.
They have Nobody be bitching.
Weed. Everybody back and like, yeah, kings are great. Go Trump. Like especially Democrats would be doing that because they will switch hit for anybody for anything. They will always be devil's advocate about anything.
Devil's advocate, switch hitting. Are you talking about our next story?
And then Jared wanted to bring up some stuff about John Bolton, and that's the whole thing. Like they are like Democrats immediately come to this asshole's aid,
and the headline
because Trump. But But
deserves a fair
but-
shake, everybody.
everybody hated this fucking guy.
Deserves-
Everybody in the goddamn, he was like such a huge enemy, like talking about fucking glassing the Palestine and like doing all these dirty fucking things that and saying he was gonna like that Julian Assange needed to be
Should be killed.
Assange needed to be fucking like publicly like fucking
Hung
drawn
from
and quartered.
It was Snowden, and he said it should be hung from an oak tree, and that's like the first
all right.
paragraph.
Weird,
reminds
okay.
us. He said that.
All
My view
right.
is that Edward Snowden committed treason. He ought to be convicted of that, and then ought to swing from a tall oak tree. And also, Snowden was convicted of the same. I guess he was convicted. Probably he lives in Russia now because that's what we did to him. He's in political exile because if he returns home, we will kill him. Like he said, we will. Well, probably not an oak tree, but whatever firing squad fucking we have left that we do to people.
Or
But
just
this is the same
magically
crime.
shot.
Mistreatment of classified documents is what Snowden was in trouble for, and now that's
Yeah.
also what Bolton is in trouble for because he just had shit. He's just texting his family and has like PDFs he's not supposed to have and printouts,
Right.
which I'm
Yeah,
sure
you guys,
everyone does,
you remember when Biden had the box of crap in his garage?
and that was fine. But Trump had a box of crap in his garage, and that was not fine.
Yeah.
That's what I understand.
So that you can understand how this works, okay? Biden does it, fine. Box of crap
It's
in
fine.
Trump's garage, not fine.
And there is the difference, which I don't even bring up because it's kind of not important. He was vice president, Biden. Biden was vice president when he took that shit, and Trump was president when he took that shit. And the argument that Trump makes where, well, hey, if I'm president, I can just declassify anything I want. It's like, he's not wrong. That is, yes, that is the rules.
You basically can.
You might
And he's
disagree
putting-
with those rules, but those
put
are the
things
rules.
really to test the limits of what can a president do and show you basically how useless and stupid that they are because like
Yes.
where there used to be decorum where they acted in a certain way and then people would be like don't do that, he's like I'm gonna do it,
I'm
and
just
then
doing
that
it. Stop
I'm
me.
doing
And
it.
they're like, oh, we actually can't stop you. And also, when the next guy gets in, we're not going to change the rules, so we still cannot stop you in the future. Because Biden got in, did we shut down all these presidential permissions? No, he used them to the fullest possibility of his power. Okay.
Right.
I should have zero sympathy for who is this? This is Salon. Salon.com, right.
A lot.
I should have zero sympathy for former UN ambassador and national security advisor John Bolton, who I called Michael Bolton the entire last story we did, and that's fine. I'm just gonna, I'm keeping that. Michael Bolton is fine. He's a singer. I don't care what his politics are. He's not a national. John Bolton, by the way, he is Swamp. He is one of the unelected people who gets to make these decisions, who just seems to hang around administration to administration. They're just still there. Same handful of people. If you hear people talking about the deep state, which is now like, oh, the right wing believes in the deep state, but left is not. Like, actually, left wing people came up with the concept of the deep state because you see what's fucking happening and have a fake puppet government. That used to be a quote left wing thing, and now if you bring up, hey, our government might be illegitimate, people go, oh, you're a psycho QAnon person. It's like, come on, man. All right,
Yeah,
I
there's
should
some
have-
space between these things, okay?
All right, he was just indicted for a whopping 18 counts of mishandling classified information, more than 3 times the number of counts similar Espionage Act prosecutions over the past 15 years. Okay, when I did advocacy work, so the person writing this is editorial, the person writing this did advocacy work for Chelsea Manning. Oh no, another person who was convicted, and at the time they'd planned on killing for distributing war crime information. Like, look at the war crimes the U.S. has done. I worked for the military, and I'm now going to be a snitch, and most heroic thing you can do. There are thousands of people right now in positions where they could just snitch. Just tell us what's happening. And boom, you're frickin' like MLK level American hero overnight. If you can just do Chelsea Manning, true patriot and American hero, even though I think they are currently kind of a shit lib. That's fine. They did it. They did that's it. They did the thing. They have done way more good that cancels out any dumb opinions they might have now.
Right.
Hooray, Chelsea Manning. In this house, we salute
Yeah.
Chelsea Manning, Edward Snowden, Julian Assange. Snitches. We love snitches in this house. In 2013, they did advocacy work for Chelsea Manning, and Bolton suggested that if found guilty, she should be punished by death. In 2013, Bolton famously said of another client, my view is that Edward Snowden committed treason. He ought to be convicted of that, and then he ought to swing from a tall oak tree. Remember, this is the same crimes that he is now being accused of, and I wonder if he thinks he should be killed. I don't even think he should be killed, though it would be funny. I don't think it should happen. Really, really funny if it does. My cup of Schadenfreude should be running over right now. It's not, however, because President Donald Trump Period. Because President Donald Trump. End. Just end the sentence. His trademark rambling and ill-advised statements could very well tank the criminal case against Bolton. Okay, actually, if that's the perspective they're taking, I can support that a little more, where Bolton's going to mess up our chance to get him. Okay. Specifically, Trump's words more than suggest that the prosecution, whatever its merits might be, is selective and vindictive, because that's what they're going to go after. Not trying to say John Bolton, not trying to say John Bolton didn't do it, but trying to say that he shouldn't have been accused of it because they accused him of it in a mean way, in a way that is selective and vindictive. A factor that could, unlike how they went after Trump for how many felonies after he got out of office, yeah, that wasn't selective and vindictive at all.
No.
Nancy Pelosi's over there calling up the World Trade Board like, hey, I got my bets in. Are they going through? But she's totally fine.
Right. And we're talking political theater here. This is just meant to distract you. We're not talking about it right now because it's meaningful. It's because that's just the stupid shit that's going on right now that all plays into the same stupid shit cycle.
This is what we're doing this week instead of Epstein. In August, I wrote about the chilling effect created by Trump targeting Bolton, but it's worse than I admit. Is the whole rest of the article just talking about how Trump is bad for doing this?
Yeah,
why did Biden not bring this? Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot and then remembered. This case was started under the Biden administration.
Oh,
so any fucking nonsense about selective vindictive prosecution. What, Biden? Biden was selected. Go ask him. Go do some interviews with him. Let's see what he says. I would love to hear some Biden interviews right now. It'd be real good. I correctly predicted that the armed raid of Bolton's house was part of an investigation into whether he illegally possessed or shared classified information in connection to his memoir. I was also right that charges would be brought under the Draconian Espionage Act. Oh, now we don't like it. Which I've decried. Oh, this person is consistent. They defended Chelsea Manning. Which I've decried to the Justice Department's tool of choice in going after press leaks it doesn't like. A tool that would soon be deployed against perceived enemies. What I didn't predict was that Bolton's alleged oversharing would carry diary-like entries containing classified information that he shared with family members, whom, of course, had neither security clearances nor a need to know. I thought any document mishandling by Bolton would be related to careless retention of classified information, which forms tens of counts, but not careless transmission of it, which forms the other 8, given his deep knowledge of the government's secrecy regime, access to military-grade encryption, and murderous commentating about Manning and Snowden. He had too much secret stuff when he was in Secret Times, but he also, like they said, the transmission part is a little surprising how he was just like, yeah, let me just send this. Apparently there's like a group chat, like him and his family has a group chat and he was posting PDFs. It's like, why do we...
Like, why does he need to know these things? Like, why? Like, do you not understand the limits of your job? Like, what are you trying to do? And he's out here like, well, like, go fuck yourself, bud.
And the whole idea is that he wasn't doing it on he wasn't even doing it on like his government computer. He was doing it on like his personal cell phones, etc. And
they all do.
There's some Iran may have hacked Bolton, and
there's a whole thing about in the last Trump administration about him wanting to keep his cell phone, and they're like, no, we didn't let Obama do it, and he's like, I don't care, I did it anyway. So it's like that's again, it just does what he wants, as long as it serves as some kind of distraction and runs interference for what's actually going on, which is the industry's controlling whatever policies are going to ultimately be enacted. It's a hierarchy of event of what's going on at any given time. Like in everything you can point back to, this is being dictated by billionaire corporations. And now we're getting into the trillionaire territory. And you can't sit there and say a country that has trillionaires or $1 trillion companies is doing things legitimately and for your good. No, they're using you as cannon fodder is what they're doing.
They're having a fun time going down all the in recent history similar situations with government people who just seem to not get in trouble for anything, where it's former National Security Advisor Sandy Berger smuggled classified documents out of the archives and blah, blah, blah. Oh, she got 2 years of probation and a fine. Hillary, because it says like in the Ordinary Times, Bolton would get a sweetheart plea deal along the lines of what Petraeus received, who was a general. I remember him, Iraqi war general. Yep. Hillary Clinton had her like secret servers, which at the time was like, but her emails, and it seemed weird. And then you look at it and you're like, oh no,
actually this is bad. This is really bad.
That is not a thing that she should be doing. I don't understand why anyone thought that was if I did even half of that at my job, which isn't running America, I would be in trouble.
Right. Yeah. Like, I think everybody would know better than that, but like for some reason they see themselves as above the law. Well, not some reason. They have been led to believe that they are literally above the law, and then when the law comes knocking, everybody's like, "This is a witch hunt. We hate this guy, but." Give me a fucking break.
I like the ending. Bolton is not a sympathetic guy on a human level. As a person, Bolton is repulsive. But if our crumbling democracy means anything, even insufferable warmongers deserve a fair shake. So, like, all of this to say, I'm a person who defended one of my clients that Bolton wanted to have killed for treason, but now, specifically because Trump is talking shit about this guy, he should get off.
Right. Yeah.
Great.
And is that the right fucking take? No, it's fucking not. Obviously.
I'm sure Chelsea's calling him up like, "Hey, thanks. Thank you very much for defending Michael Bolton,
right?
John Bolton, the person who wanted to be killed." Michael Bolton probably does not want Chelsea Manning to be killed by the state. Actually, if you asked him, he'd probably say something like, right. "Who?" Huh?
But it also this is like the clear hypocrisy about what people believe, especially Democrats with their wishy-washy bullshit that just fits in to plug into whenever anything's going on. It's a crime for thee, but not for me. Like, if my guy does it, it's not a crime. And that is like a literal Nixonian quote. He said, if the president does it, then it's not a crime. Yeah, the fuck it is, bud.
I'm looking at NBC News. Why Bolton's indictment is different. CNN. What to know about, like, the whole apparatus is running around.
Like, yeah, the James Comey, they were saying all the same dumb crap. Like, it's just like I don't care. I don't care.
MSNBC, the lib of all lib newses, right? They should be super on this now. The political context for John Bolton's indictment taints the entire proceeding. Basically the same thing, which is like, we think he did all this, but because Trump called him a dumbass on TV, he should get off forever. And it's like, well, can I have that?
He was rude to him, and that goes against laws. You're not allowed to be rude.
It's it's the freaking comic of the Palestinians where it's like, I hear the next bombs will be sent by a woman.
Right? Yeah, like that's exactly.
They don't care about the bombs. They just care about the vibes with which the bombs are delivered. In this case, they were
when you see missiles with like the BLM and rainbow flag stickers on them and things like that. Yeah, it's the exact same scenario. Like, it's
really
okay.
Makes you feel like you're part of history.
Right? And then we have 7 million people at the No Kings. So, like,
yep, that's what the No Kings rally was that comic. Next time the bombs will be sent by a woman.
And I'm telling you, like, when we're all like roasting squirrels over fucking trash cans fires, and like, and all those people are gonna be like, but I went to the rally, I tried. Like, no, you fucking didn't. You didn't do shit. You didn't put yourself out for a second about anything to do with anything. And the thing about it is, if you had a good time there and you wanted to do that, like, you know how good it feels to some shit? Because that's really awesome. Like, that's really fucking cool to be able to boycott things. Yeah, there we are.
They say the next ones will be sent by a woman. Really makes you feel the second bubble kind of like really does it for me. Really makes you feel like you're part of history.
Right? And that's the way that's the way it's going to be portrayed when the AIs are writing the textbooks for the children in the next generation. That's what these parents are going to tell their adult children, that we tried. You have to stand up for what you believe in. We went out there. There are pictures. Like, that's the whole point. This was for an amusement. This was nothing, because it was for the fun of it for them. If they were put out in any way, or, thought something, they might actually really get arrested, or something like negative could really happen to them, that the police might shoot at them or something like this, then they wouldn't have gone. That's the whole thing. This whole agenda of don't do this and make sure you smile, that wasn't to keep people safe or do anything. That was to make sure that these people behaved in a certain way that they could like monitor the behavior, and again funnel them back into the capitalist system of red blue, and make sure you're not you think you're doing something because you're not actually paying attention. And in the exact same scenarios with our state media, when they're sitting there saying there's a ceasefire happened, then the liberals can plug the ears immediately and be like, I don't have to feel bad about it anymore. I don't have to think about this. It doesn't have to be in my face 24/7. Everybody doesn't need to be telling me shit anymore because they said ceasefire. And then, what happened? Hamas, because I heard it on the news. So obviously Israel is the good guy. And we're doing that right in the middle of a AIPAC rebrand, where they're trying to portray themselves now as an American first type of thing. They're changing their name. And that's not about hiding their past. That's about making people not know who they are going into the future. And then at the same time that's happening, and the reason they're doing that is not because they care about being the bad guy, but because jackoffs like Seth Moulton are like, oh, well, I'm sending back all my AIPAC money. And that I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that because I'm like so good about it. But also, Palestine should get glassed. So like
even the AIPAC thing that people have been pointing out, it's like, yes, you can have the graphic of AOC with her zero AIPAC money because no, she has not received any money directly from AIPAC, but she has received money from people who receive AIPAC money. Like, you just have to launder it in like one extra step, and then like you're saying, with a rebrand, you can now even more easily get up and say, I take no AIPAC money, and it's like, no, I take Mary and Adelson
money.
directly.
I take America First money.
That's
different. That's different. And I talked about this last week. You weren't here for it, but because I'm so sick of having to bring up shitty people on this, because we've had to quote Tucker Carlson. We've had to quote Marjorie Taylor Greene more times than we fucking want to do. It makes us throw up in our mouths. And then
anybody's welcome to start having those opinions. Anybody
right. And then, last week I think I hit like the worst part of it all because I had to quote Matt Gaetz on something, and I did not want. Like I did not want to do it, but he had just come out on. He's turned podcaster. And he came out and said, which hopefully you missed while you were having a good time and didn't hear about it. But he came out and he said that, like, okay, you would go to these fundraising events, right, as like a senator or statesperson, or like you wanted to, like you're running a campaign, right? Especially if you're new, that they preyed on you. So you go to these big mixers, right? And then like you would wear a little badge on your shirt with a QR code on it, and you would give literally you would give a pitch to the AIPAC people. Like they would intermingle, like here's your pitch, here's what I'll do for you, what I'll do for you. And if they liked what you had to say, they would take a picture of your thing and send you money straight on the spot.
They'd buy you like a product. You're the Amazon grocery store where they just scan you and leave.
And that was the point he was making. And like, of course, he is also a jerk off, but at the same time, like king of the jerk offs. But like you like literal definition of. But like I have no reason not to believe that's true. And that's again pulling the veil off of like these like secret rituals that people have been up to forever. And if you think that's new, it's definitely not new. The QR code is new, but that whole thing is like this is a tale of
envelope before they just insert a check into it.
Right? Yeah,
before QR code.
Like boop. But like you want to go into these secret society nonsense, this Illuminati nonsense. Like you don't even have to. It's just corporations have been doing this as long as they realize they can gain control this way.
It's been streamlined. We have QR codes now.
It's just like a pipeline too. Like, and if they like what you have to say, you get some money. If they really like it, you get more money. If they don't like it, then you basically get phased out. Like they are the ones deciding where that is. And we have long been saying the AIPAC, which is the Israel lobby, has all this money. That is American money. Like it's our own money. Like Israel is not, and they're trying to Gaddafi Netanyahu at this point, act like he's a rogue agent doing crazy things, and we never believed it, and we never wanted to, but we tried to be diplomat. No, and that's where Trump is trying to take responsibility for shutting down the whole or brokering the peace deal. That didn't happen. Okay, so the people who decide what's going on here have decided like, okay, this has gone far enough. We need to tone the rhetoric down and get people distracted away from it again. And because it's our money, it's America bankrolls Israel. Anything Israel does is at America's behest. So that like we want it for our stronghold. The Greater Israel plot, which is not even a plot, they're enacting it. That is for America and American donors and American beneficiaries who want to exploit the resources, the waterfront, the properties. They want that. That is for America. That is to create something to fight against Iraq and Iran and Saudi Arabia up close on the front lines and have something to do that. So they are our dog on a leash. And if you think anything else, you're crazy. So AIPAC is essentially, again, something that is all American funded to show you, again, money is bullshit. If it wasn't, we wouldn't be giving $40 billion to bail out the economy of Argentina that idiot fucking tanked with his stupid austerity process and another the Trump version, of that. Yet we still don't have anything. So like people are starting to get mad about things. They're starting to be a little more I want to say upwardly mobile, even though this No Kings was nothing. If you can get these 7 million people to do a no kings thing. Maybe if we've hit them in a comfort zone and be like, can you just like not shop today? Like, can you not shop on this day? Can you not do that? Maybe they might be like, okay, maybe I can not shop on this day. Like maybe we can actually mobilize for good. But as soon as like the threats come back, like if there was a really like a real protest of that going on, like that was really going to happen and millions of people were going to do it, then the Trump would come out and be like, if you do this, you're going to jail. And they'd be like, oh, I don't want to go to jail. And then like, even though it's not for real and they couldn't enforce it, that would be enough to move people off the spot. So I don't know where we go from here, but we go somewhere. Because everything is falling the fuck apart. Like this is literally like a dying empire, and hopefully it won't take like 200 years for it to happen. But that's where we are. And what comes next, we can only speculate at this point. Did you have any parting words for us, Mr. Jared?
Nah, I don't know. it's my only quote advice continues to be to read, make friends around you, like to literally talk to your neighbors or people close around you, because when things fall apart, that's who's going to be there to help you. I don't know if there is anything that can be done to like course correct or whatever that means, because until the current apparatus is gone, or at least being challenged directly, I don't know how anything changes. You can be like France and shut down Paris for a little bit, and like they said, he then found a way to get it done without votes. Kind of like in the US, they'll find a way to get it done regardless of who you vote for, because who you vote for has been rendered irrelevant. Doesn't matter who you put into that office. People like John Bolton and other, quote, deep state. Actually, the fact that we know John Bolton's name means he's not at the top layer either. These are people you never frickin' see. It's not even really people.
Never know,
it's
never heard of. Yeah.
The machine is moving under its own momentum at this point. I don't know if anyone is really making decisions, and I don't think that like, oh, let's just fuck with this existing machine a little bit until it's better. I just don't even think it's possible.
It's not salvageable. No.
It rejects any attempt to change it. That's part of the operation of the machine, and it's like, all right, this has to, I guess, go. It's that Onion headline where it's like, President Xi Jinping of China determined not to do anything that could possibly interrupt the U.S.'s natural collapse.
Right, yeah.
Like, got to do our century of humiliation, I guess. We can't even agree what the effing problem is.
And if you thought that like they were worried, like at the upper echelon, they were worried about collapse. No, they're benefiting from it, because they'll just take the money to Saudi Arabia and go live in the UAE and spend all their money there, where money is like infinite. You know,
they
like
build bunkers because they think they're gonna have this like luxury Mad Max future where they just keep having fun while we all die, and that's not how it's gonna work, man.
And they are capitalizing
from it. You will be dragged out of those fucking things.
Yeah, they will take everything and continue to. I mean, you look at the way things are in this country now, and we're scraping bottom. This is the bottom of the barrel coming up here. Like, but they will find a way to make it worse. Look at your life like 10 years ago versus now. Like the ads and the everything in your face all the time, and the taxes on everything, and prices going up on everything. Like your living conditions are way fucking worse, and they weren't even good back then or before. So like, don't expect things to get better. Expect the quality of things. Things are in shitified faster and faster than you can even imagine at this point. And none of us even really predicted this would happen, because we are not in the corporate mindset of like, what can we take from people who don't already have anything until we kill them. So that is like literally where we are in this country. So we have in some ways reached that inflection point, but are people going to meet in the middle and do something more than parade around with stupid signs and dumb hats and costumes meant to get likes on Instagram? So you know where we stand on that. We're welcoming. Come on down. But this is again why the left is we get such a bad reputation for being so angry all the time and mean and unwelcoming, because we're tired of fighting your fucking battles. Like you're leaving like 20 of us out here to fight for a world, and it's not going too well, people.
And if you
with
try
7 fucking million of you show up at a goddamn parade, it makes us a little bit upset. Okay.
It's when you try to show up at not a parade, you get freaking
murdered.
I don't remember if I said this before or after we actually went on air, but I guess that's my closing thought. I got absolutely massacred online by a lot of Democrat voters because I attended a communist rally, and it was rally even is like too big. That sounds like we're all in the streets. No, we sat in a hotel conference room and like calmly listened to speeches for a little while. It was called Unite Against the Imperialist, which I like because it's singular. It's like there's only really one. You can't have like two imperialist hegemons. It's
Right.
the U.S. It's the U.S. and it's only the U.S. and we're against all these wars. Why do we keep messing around with other countries? And I was, man, you might as well have thought that I went to a freaking Patriot Front rally or I was like in the back of a U-Haul with one of the masks on going out. That's how you would have thought and as far as I know, if you tallied up every death that everyone in that room that I was in was responsible for, you probably would be well under 100. I'd assume 0 actually, but let's be nice.
Yeah.
Let's be nice and say it's around 100. Maybe someone there was a combat veteran or something, or I don't know. If you went to a march with Hillary Clinton and Nancy Pelosi only, and there was no other Democrat or Republican showing up and doing it, that combined body count is somewhere in the millions, likely tens of millions, and that's like only if you include Libya, and Haiti. So like if you start adding in some of these other countries, add in your Iraqs, etc. These are people who've just allowed they have actually held power. They've held office. She was Secretary of State, Hillary Clinton. Nancy Pelosi has been in office, like we were saying, for 36 or so years.
Right.
How is it considered political suicide to attend a meeting of communists who, like I said, body count well under 100, I would assume, but it's not considered in any way even weird, you wouldn't even blink, to march alongside Hillary Clinton and Nancy Pelosi? You need to question
what is your point? Like that's where we're at.
If you're marching if you look to your right and left and you see Nancy Pelosi and Hillary Clinton, what rally are you at?
What are you for? What are you about? Orange Man bad? Are we not over that by this point? Yeah, Orange Man bad. But like Orange Man bad, Biden bad,
Orange
Obama
Man will
bad.
be gone soon and nothing else will have changed. Well,
Except
it might be worse. It could be, with both of us, it could be worse.
Yeah, we'll see how much worse it actually gets. Again, when we're all roasting squirrels over fires, and we're gonna talk about like,
and
man,
I'm getting screamed at how I'm Hitler if I don't.
Yeah,
vote for
remember?
Hunter
Yeah,
Biden.
remember when people used to say you were Hitler? Oh man,
you better vote for Hunter Biden, or you're the worst thing ever in America. You think I'm joking?
You're ruining everything, but his emails or his laptop.
No, for him it's but his crack pipe.
But his crack. So what? So what? You're just gonna be prejudiced against people who do drugs, who have addictions?
You
Are you just
couldn't
gonna?
vote? Now we got I would say President Marjorie Taylor Greene. I'm like, that'd be kind of. I'd actually be interested. Of all of them, put her up there. See what happens.
Fuck it. Let's go. Oh man.
Vote for President Carlson.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Well, thanks so much for hanging out and listening to our rant. We're glad to put it out there at least a little bit. Yeah. If you want us to anything we want to. Words in order. If there's anything you want us to talk about in the show, make sure to reach out to us on our socials. We're everywhere you can find us. You can check out our entire archive on YouTube. We are coming up on a couple of anniversaries. We're going to have our 2-year anniversary in mid next month. And sometime probably after that shortly, we'll be hitting 100 episodes. So we'll try to maybe get some more upbeat stuff for those if things haven't devolved into total hell. You never know.
My most upbeat thing. I'll be doing some readings.
Yeah, but
it honestly does give me hope. That makes me feel far more positive because you realize the shit we're dealing with has not fundamentally changed since like 1860, and it's a no. You can know more about it, which to me makes me feel more secure than going out and pretending I'm changing things by holding like a snippy meme sign.
Yeah, we shouldn't be here, but since everything is shit and we are, we will continue to bring these rants until, I don't know, the FBI kicks our doors in. Who the hell knows what's coming next? So, maybe if you're going to send some money to ActBlue or whatever, save a couple bucks for our bail funds. But again, you can check out all of our old shows on our YouTube channel. We're also on Twitch and we're, and Rumble, and you can find all of us or find us everywhere. I will be back with you shortly for a bonus episode of not politics, but talking about creative things.
Yes.
So we're going to have a good time, hopefully. So I will see you shortly, and we will be back with you next week again at our regularly scheduled time for whatever fresh hell is going on then. I think that will be our Halloween show. if the calendar in my mind is right.
It will be shortly before Halloween.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. So we will see you then. Take care of each other. Take care of yourselves. Don't buy candy. It's overpriced, and they all support Israel. So do some boycotts at least. If you're, at the very least, make some candy or eat a cake or something. So, all right. We'll see you guys again next week. So thank you for joining us and take care. Bye-bye.